Hi, I'm Dr. Maha. In this video, I'm going to be discussing some simple yet effective skills or tools to communicate effectively and listen effectively to your partner or any other significant person in your life. So let's start first by emphasizing the importance of being calm when you are going to speak to your partner, especially if you're going to be talking about something difficult or sensitive or potentially emotional, or you're maybe going to be conveying a very honest message. It's very important to enter that conversation or start that conversation when you're both feeling as calm as possible, especially if you've been arguing or had recent conflict. So in order to do that, the first step is to be able to find self-soothing coping strategies. So whether it's journaling, listening to music, practicing mindfulness or breathing exercises, or going for a walk, whatever helps you calm yourself down, I would encourage you to do before you engage in a heavy or serious discussion with your partner. So that's number one. Number two is check with your partner about a time that is convenient for both of you, obviously, where you're both going to be able to be emotionally and mentally available. So you don't want to be talking about something difficult or important when either one of you is distracted or tired or just not in the mood to have a conversation like that. So make sure you check with your partner when a good time would be to have a conversation, and then set that time up in the calendar for both of you, and make sure, like I said, that you're both calm and able to be receptive to each other's messages. Okay? Once that's done, and you are at that time, both of you sitting comfortably mentally present with each other, one of you needs to start, and you're going to be taking turns being the speaker and listener. Okay? So I would suggest that the person who is most upset or has, something to say, that's more important to them, shall start first with being the speaker. So in that role, the speaker will be obviously expressing their feelings or thoughts or requests. The listener is there to literally listen without interruption for a few minutes, okay? So let one person speak for a few minutes without interruption. And the listener obviously may have their own responses, opinions, thoughts about what the speaker is saying. I would suggest that the listener puts those thoughts or opinions on hold for now and focus in the moment just on listening. And I will talk about what the listener can do at the end. So the speaker has to also convey their message in an appropriate manner. So tips for speaking effectively in a way that is not going to be inflammatory are, first of all, of course, think about what you're going to be saying before you say it. Think about how you can say it in a way that's not accusatory or blaming. And one way to do that is to use I sentences. So I, not you. Okay? So we often start saying things like, you don't care, you never listen, you did this, you did that. We want to avoid that. What we want to say instead is, I felt ignored, dismissed, unwanted, hurt, angry, frustrated, sad, whatever it is that you felt when you did this. So number one, use I language. Start sentences with I instead of you. Number two, express how you felt about what your partner did. So not I feel like or I felt like you don't care. That's the same thing. No. I felt frustrated, hurt, sad, angry, whatever it is that you felt, ignored, right? When you did whatever it is that the partner did that upset you. So I felt and attach a feeling. Really think about, in that moment, how did you feel? Dig a bit deep inside and think about what the person did affected you. Okay, how did that affect you? I felt whatever feeling you felt, and then the third thing is attaching that to a behavior, not a character trait, not a personality issue. So don't say things like, I felt hurt when you were lazy, or I felt angry when you didn't care. No, I felt hurt when you rolled your eyes. That's a behavior. I felt ignored when you were checking your phone when I was talking to you. So these are specific behaviors that would be much more effective to point out and explain how they made you feel or the impact they had on you, rather than pointing out a personality trait that you don't like about the partner, okay, or generalizing. So be as specific as you can about the behavior that bothered you and how it affected you, okay? And ideally, after you express how it affected you and you clearly state the behavior that you didn't like, make a request. So in the future, what I would prefer, or I would really appreciate, that when I talk to you about something important, you would put your phone aside and look at me when I'm talking to you, okay? So that is a very clear and specific request for the future. So your partner not only knows what bothered you, but also knows what to do better or differently next time, all right? So the listener in that situation, once the speaker has expressed their views, and try to be brief, by the way, as the speaker. Don't go on for 15 minutes because the listener can only remember so much, right? So after a few minutes of expressing clearly, succinctly their feelings or requests, the listener, the job then is to just paraphrase or repeat back to the speaker what they understood or what they heard. So first we want to mirror or reflect back what we heard. And the reason for doing that is, well, there are two main reasons. One is to help the person feel heard, understood, validated. And two is to check that we understood them, because very often what happens is we misunderstand our partner, and then that leads to another conflict or disagreement, right? So repeating back something like, so I heard you say that you felt ignored or dismissed when I was checking my phone when you were talking to me yesterday. Did I get you? Okay. And you would prefer in the future that I would put my phone aside when it's something important that you want to discuss and look at you when you're talking to me. Did I get you? Is that right? Great. Now you've checked, you've understood your partner. If there's more that your partner wants to add, they have an opportunity now to add that. If not, then you, the listener, can then move on to the speaker role, and you can express your opinion about it. You can explain yourself. You can tell them if that's something that you're able to change. So you can basically respond to what your partner said, and respond about the request as well. Is that something that you're able to change in the future? Is that something that you're willing to do? Is it feasible? Okay. Another thing I would add is definitely show empathy. So whenever anyone is listening, when you're repeating back or paraphrasing back what you heard, it would be great. That's a bonus point. That's a bonus point. It would be great if you could show empathy in the sense that you say to your partner, yeah, it makes sense that you would feel ignored when I did that, even though I didn't mean it that way, and I am sorry that I did that. It makes sense that you felt ignored when I was checking my phone. So I apologize, and in the future I will do my best to be more conscious of that. So that's like an extra bonus point. If you could show empathy as well, then you're a pro communicator. So that's it in a nutshell. Basically, make sure you're both as calm as possible when you're about to talk about something important. Have a speaker and listener role. The speaker thinks about how they're going to convey their message using eye language, expressing how they feel about the behavior, being specific about the behavior they don't like, and making a clear and specific request. The listener will repeat back and paraphrase what they understood to show empathy, validation, and check that they've understood that their partner correctly. And then they are able to swap roles, and the listener will become the speaker and vice versa if the listener has something to say about the subject or their own concerns or feelings about another subject as well. Okay, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I hope that that helps, and just remember that every couple disagrees, every couple will have conflict, and that is completely okay. What matters the most is that you're able to repair the conflict and you're able to communicate with each other about how you felt about things and try to be there to support each other and do better next time. Thank you so much for listening, and take care.